Welcome to Hope is Here. My name is Greg Horn. It is Food for Thought Friday. And love to share some nuggets of wisdom with you where God has spoke to me. And I saw this post by my friend Jason Eaton. He is a campus pastor at Southland Christian Church and a good friend. And he posted this. I don't know that it originated from him. And so I'd like to give credit when I share something that speaks to me, because I'm hoping maybe it'll speak to you and encourage you like it did me. But he had this Facebook post recently. It says, sometimes worship looks like staying faithful even when the call is hard, believing after disappointment, not allowing the people who hurt you to stop you from loving other people. Sometimes worship looks like forgiving when it's hard. Sometimes worship looks like singing and believing through the pain despite what you presently see and hear. Sometimes worship looks like praying when your tears outnumber your words. And I know for this holiday season we're in, friends, and Christmas, that, sometimes there are tears being shed. I know I went to a funeral recently for a close friend of mine, Ann Reinhold, her precious dad. Richard Reinhold finally completed his earthly journey one day before his 94th birthday. And Mr. Reinhold was just a wonderful man of God, just selfless. He was humble and generous, loved Jesus, was a great dad, great husband, a great friend. Just made a huge difference with his one and only life. And as Ann and her brother Reese and the pastor shared at his funeral service, it reminded me so much of my dad. And from knowing Mr. Reinhold myself, it was an emotional day for me. We were there to celebrate his life and worship Jesus, because that's what Mr. Reinhold would have wanted. And yet, I sat in the back row there and just wept. They played that powerful song by Casting Crowns. There'll be No More Scars in Heaven, I believe is the name of it. And as they played that song, had the lyrics there, I just thought about that. And maybe, you know what, it was painful and sad in some ways, but it also was very therapeutic, cleansing, because, I love my dad and I really miss him. We celebrated his birthday last week, December 15th. I did a tribute program to him because I want to give honor to whom honor is due. And yet, honestly, I hadn't had a good cry like that over him. I'm thankful. It'll be 7 years in March, and I'm good. I'm blessed, very thankful for many, many good memories. But, sometimes you're tired, and during this Christmas season, and just thought back, and I'm not embarrassed to say I shed many tears there through that song at the end of that service there for Richard Reinhold. And I'm so thankful to know that God gave us tears to release the pain in our hearts. And in the book of Psalms, it actually tells us that God stores those tears that we cry in a bottle in heaven with her name on it. And it's okay, friends. And maybe for some of you today, when this program ends, you know what? I just want to encourage you to have a good cry. In fact, I hate to do this because we've still got 9 minutes left, but maybe you need to do that right now. Just some lumps coming to your throat, and you just need to have a good cry and just tell God how much you're hurting, or whether it's you miss a loved one this holiday season, or whether you're just weary and worn out and tired. And just, tell God about it. Have a conversation with him. He wants a real and personal relationship with you. And it's okay to tell him. And if that involves tears, the more the better. I'm so thankful that, Jesus wept over the death of his friend Lazarus. And the Son of God, Jesus, wept. Friends, it's okay for us to weep. And I'm thankful that sometimes when we worship, it looks like praying when your tears outnumber your words. It also sometimes worship looks like going back and picking up your cross after the pain of life made you drop it. That's powerful. Going back and picking up your cross after the pain of life made you drop it. Sometimes worship looks like and telling God, even though everything that has happened to me is not good right now, I believe that you can make everything work out for my good and your glory. It's so good, friends, that We can just go back and do that Romans 8:28 thing. Even though I don't understand, God, I know that your word says all things work together for those who love the Lord, are called according to his purpose. I'm so thankful we can stand on that promise today. In Proverbs chapter 3, verses 5 and 6, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding, but in all your ways acknowledge God, and he will make your path straight. So thankful, friends, that we can stand on that promise today. Toby Mack, the wonderful worship artist, has a post he does daily. It's called Speak Life, and he posted this recently. You know, two things that can define you. One, your patience when you have nothing, and your attitude when you have everything. So I want to encourage you today, friends, to be patient even if you're struggling. God's not forgotten you, and he's going to help replenish what the locusts have eaten in your life. But also, if you're in a season of blessing, stay humble and then be generous with the resources that God has entrusted you with. Instead of buying more stuff for yourself or maybe more stuff for people that really don't need it, if you're honest, bless others that you know could use a blessing. Just so amazed how God does those type of things. And I'm so thankful for people that are generous, Lord, and I've been the recipient of those things. And yet I know that a lot of us say, hey, you know what? I want to be generous. And yet we have to be intentional about it. And I want to encourage you to do that. I saw this post by a friend of mine, Robin Fleischer, recently, and this is a great story. She said she doesn't know the author of it, but it says a professor gave a balloon to every student who had to inflate it, write their name on it, and throw it in the hallway. The professor then mixed all the balloons, and then the students were given 5 minutes to find their own balloon in this mass pile of balloons. Despite a hectic search, not one person found their balloon. At that point, after the 5 minutes, the professor told the students to take the first balloon they found and hand it to the person whose name had been written on it. Within 5 minutes, everyone had their own balloon. Then the professor said to the students, you know, these balloons are like happiness. We will never find it if everyone is looking for their own, but if we care about other people's happiness, we'll find ours too. That's so good. Say that one more time. You know, these balloons are like happiness. We will never find it if everyone is looking for their own, but if we care about other people's happiness, we'll find ours too. You know, that's why the Bible says it's more blessed to give than to receive, friends. And I want to encourage you to know that during this Christmas season. And you say, well, I can't give financially, Greg. Well, you know what? Give with your words. You know, just a word of encouragement. I don't care who you are. I am so thankful when I get a text or an email or a Facebook message from somebody just saying, you know, I was so blessed by Hope Is Here Today, or by your sermon at Gardenside Christian Church, or, if somebody says, hey, you look like you've lost weight, or I like that sweater, or, you know, whatever it is, okay? Be intentional about that, friends. I'm trying to do that. Or if you think about somebody, you're like, I don't have time to call, just send them a text. Say, you know what? Thinking about you. I hope you're doing well. Merry Christmas. Maybe we get together after the first of the year. Love you and miss you. I mean, friends, a text like that, you could be somebody's hope today. And just be encouraging. Let's do that. We can all do that with our words. It doesn't take a lot of time. Doesn't take any money. Or maybe go to the dollar store and buy, I think they're like 5 or 6 in a card that you can do thank you cards. And I know it sounds crazy, but just this Christmas season, say, hey, you know what, I'm just thankful for you as a friend. Thank you so much. And I love it when I go to the mail and it's something besides bills and junk mail. And I get that handwritten card or a donation check, and somebody on top of their financial generosity to Hope Is Here, they write a Post-it note and just share a word of encouragement or blessing. I can live off that for days. And friends, we can do that. All of us can. And don't forget that, and stand on knowing that your words matter. And the Bible says life and death are in the power of the tongue. And so stand on that today and know that Jesus, he wants you to be able to speak to others and encourage them. And I saw this, I apologize, I can't think of her name. She posts things by Dr. ABC. It's a lady that's a strong person of faith, a Christian, and I apologize, I cannot think of her name right now, but she had this great quote that really spoke to me because I've heard it often through my life, and one of those that I believe with all my heart. She said, obedience in small things is a big thing to God's heart. Obedience in small things is a big thing to God's heart. Friends, you may be asking God, praying for God to bless you in something in your life, but there's some little things that, maybe just one little thing that you've not been obedient about doing. And I'm not sure what that is, but you and God know what it is. And I want to encourage you to do that one thing, whatever it is, just being obedient in the small things. That may be something as simple as when you go to the grocery store, taking your grocery cart and putting it back in the rack where you're supposed to return the carts. Or if you're shopping and, you get something wrong, not to just put it, if it's a refrigerated item, don't just set it in the shelf or it'll get, hot and be ruined and cost that business money, or just somebody you need to call and say, you know what, hey, I'm sorry the other day. I know I said something that just didn't come across the right way, and please forgive me. My good friend Joe Olagus, Trainer Joe, I saw him post recently, starting over is not failure. You are not starting from scratch. You are starting from experience. I like that. Starting over is not failure. You're not starting from scratch. You are starting from experience. Friends, it's not too late. Okay, you may not be able to make a brand new beginning, but you know what? You can make a brand new ending starting today and change them with the way you handle things, the way you do things. Coach Gene Chizik, strong follower of Jesus and the defensive coordinator for the University of North Carolina's football team, also used to be in the SEC network, studio analyst. Got a chance to meet him this summer. He's good follow on social media. He said recently, the greatest prison people live in is the fear of what other people think. Ouch. Guilty of that as a people pleaser myself. He says, the greatest prison people live in is the fear of what other people think. That's so, so true, friends, and don't let the enemy get you with that. Well, I'm so thankful that Jesus never says, this is the last time I'm putting you back together. And I know some of you may be struggling today. Maybe it's with an issue that you struggled off and on in your life, but friends, don't give up. Jesus doesn't ever give up on us. So, just try for another day. Ask him for help. Surrender to him and know that he wants to help you because he loves you. Well, we twice a year ask for your financial blessings. In the summertime, where you're blessed to have somebody that gives us a $10,000 matching gift. And then at the end of the year, we come back in December to say, hey, would you consider helping Hope is Here with a year-end donation and gift? God's just may help us make so many ripples this year with Hope is Here ministry, and we want to do even more in 2023. So if you consider making a tax-deductible donation, no gift is too small. We would greatly, greatly appreciate it. Or maybe consider becoming a regular, frequent, monthly supporter of Hope is Here ministry. You can go to our website, hopeisheretoday.org. That's hopeisheretoday.org, and do a safe and secure online giving. Or there's a mailing address if you make your check out to Hope is Here, where you can mail that. All donations are tax deductible, and they are greatly appreciated. Thanks so much for listening. Have a great weekend. I'm Greg Horn, and this is Hope is Here.